Hare Krishna, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrta, Madhya Lila, Chapter 20, Text 135. पूर्व दिके ताते माटी अल्प खुड़ीते धनेर झारी पड़ी बेका तुम्हार हाथेते. Translation. However, if you dig up a small quantity of dirt on the eastern side, your hands will immediately touch the pot of treasure. The Vedic literatures, including the Puranas, state that according to the position of the conditioned soul, there are different processes: Karma Kand, Jnana Kand, the yogic process, and the Bhakti Yoga process. Karma Kand is compared to wasps and drones that will simply bite if one takes shelter of them. Gyan Kand, the speculative process, is simply like a ghost who creates mental disturbances. Yoga, the mystic process, is compared to a black snake that devours people by the impersonal cultivation of Kaivalya. However, if one takes to Bhakti Yoga, he becomes quickly successful. In other words, through Bhakti Yoga, one's hands touch the hidden treasure without difficulty. The goal of all revealed scriptures and Vedic injunctions is Krishna, as he himself says in the Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Vedescha Sarvera Ahameva Vedya. Since the Vedas enjoin one to search out Krishna and take shelter at his lotus feet, and since no Vedic process but devotional service will enable one to do this, one has to take to devotional service. According to the Bhagavad Gita 18.55, only the Bhakti process is said to be definitive. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. This is the conclusive statement of the Vedas, and one has to accept this process if one is serious in searching for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives the following statement. The eastern side represents devotional service to Lord Krishna. The southern side represents the process of fruitive activity, Karam Kand, which ends in material gain. The western side represents Gyan Kand, the process of mental speculation, sometimes called Siddhi Kand. The northern side represents the speculative method, sometimes known as the mystic yoga system. It is only the eastern side devotional service that enables one to attain life's real goal. On the southern side, there are fruitive activities by which one is subject to the punishment of Yamraj. When one follows the system of fruitive activity, his material desires remain prominent. Consequently, the result of this process are compared to wasps and drones. The living entity is beaten by the wasps and drones of fruitive activity and thus suffers in the material existence birth after birth. One cannot become free from the material desires by following this process. The propensity of material enjoyment never ends. Therefore, the cycle of birth and death continues, and the spirit soul suffers perpetually. The mystic yoga process is compared to a black snake that devours the living entity and injects him with poison. The ultimate goal of the yoga system is to become one with the Absolute. This means finishing one's personal existence. But the spiritual part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead has an eternal individual existence. The Bhagavad Gita confirms that the individual soul existed in the past, is existing in the present, and will continue to exist as an individual in the future. Artificially trying to become one with the Absolute is suicidal. One cannot annihilate his natural condition. A yaksha, a protector of riches, will not allow anyone to take away riches for enjoyment. Such a demon will simply create disturbances. In other words, a devotee will not depend on his material resources but on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can give real protection. This is called Rakshishyatiti Vishwas, or in the Bengali poetry of Shri Bhakti Vinod Thakur's Sharnagrati Avashya Rakshive Krishna Vishwas Palan. The surrendered soul must accept the fact that his real protector is Krishna, not his material acquisitions. Considering all these points, devotional service to Krishna is the real treasure house for the living entity. When one comes to the platform of devotional service, he always remains opulent in the association of Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who is bereft of devotional service is swallowed by the black snake of the yoga system and bitten by the wasps and drones of fruitive activities, and he suffers consequent material miseries. Sometimes the living entity is misled into trying to merge into spiritual existence, thinking himself as good as Supreme Personality of Godhead. This means that when he comes to the spiritual platform, he will be disturbed and will again return to material platform. According to Srimad Bhagavatam 10.2.32, येनेरविन्दाक्ष विमुक्तमानिनस् त्वय्यस्तभावात् अविशुद्धबुद्धया आरुह्य कृष्णेन परम पदम तथा पतन्त्यधो नादृत युष्मत् angreya. Such people may become sannyasis, but unless they take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, they will return to the material platform to perform philanthropic activities. In this way, one's spiritual life is lost. This is to be understood as being devoured by the black snake.